Okay, here we go for January predictions. I just want to, first of all, make a sort of a comment on something I said in the December predictions, and that was that Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Uranus, expect some terrorist activity. I did say for the whole months, terrorism would be on everybody's minds, on the media. That's what the talk would be about, and that turned out to be true. However, I did say there might be an event on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day based on the fact that Uranus was turning direct. And so I want to clarify that Uranus is so unpredictable. You know, it rules the subject of terrorism. It also rules the Uranus did do a little bit of a thing that has to do with terrorism, and that is just this weekend, a little late, Saudi Arabia beheaded all those people, caused a problem with Iran, has decided not to be friends with Iran anymore, and the United States is deciding not to protect anyone. So these are more steps toward building some sort of World War III scenario. The Middle East is so messed up. And also the truth of Clinton and her position in Benghazi is being exposed through this movie. And I last night actually saw an interview by Megyn Kelly of the three men that actually went in to try to save everybody's lives at that embassy. And they said that everything Clinton said was a big lie. So that being said, that's a Uranus thing in Aries. She's trying to cover her bases and she's not telling the truth and affects the whole community at large, which Uranus rules the whole community at large. So we did see terrorism. We just saw it on foreign soil, which I'm grateful for. But that also can be considered a true statement in the fact that I said the new moon was in Sagittarius. We'd be dealing with foreigners, terrorism on their land. Well, no, I may not have said that, but that's what that means. Foreigners, Sagittarius, and terrorist acts. So fortunate for us, it did not happen here in the United States, but it does affect us in a big, big way here in the United States. So pray, please pray that we never, ever have to see World War III, because that's what is happening in the astrology, and it's lining up to be. That's a real reality, and there's only one ammunition that I know of that works, and that's profound prayer. So give it, be specific, call for the calming of the waters, the stilling of the storms in the Middle East, the stopping of all the hatred and the division between religions, and the nonsense and excuses that people use to want to hurt each other. And pray for our president to have backbone, although I believe that he's just on the dark side and he doesn't want to help he doesn't want to do the things he wants to do because he's on the dark side. I shouldn't say that about anyone because I don't know what's going on inside him, but when I see that he's not protecting America from little danger and big danger, it concerns me. So that being said, subject of sudden events, sudden weather conditions, sudden surprises, sudden expect the unexpected at any level of being, because it electrifies, moves faster, creates a shakeup. It loves to shake up things. So we did see a lot of tornadoes and floods over the Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, which is totally, in my eyes, unusual. So I guess I'm grateful that there was no terrorism. And, truly, astrology, to know it ahead of time is to give you strength to overcome. And that's why it's so important to know what the heck is going on so that you can make a call to your angels or to whatever it is that you believe in and make it out loud, be specific, call to the angels to come in and take command of that particular astrology configuration so nothing ever happens. And there's a lot of people that pray for the planet. There's a lot of astrologers out there who know that Uranus was doing some really messed up stuff and is still continuing its sojourn through the sign Aries, which makes people trigger happy. That's why we see these little violent activities with guns here and there. And then we have, in January, Uranus continuing its little surge of let's shake up the community. Now, Uranus does rule the community at large. And we have the President of the United States bringing in a gun law, Uranus and Aries. Aries is basically the gun. Uranus is the sudden event where the gun is concerned. So here we have President Obama trying to pass an executive order to make it a little tougher to get guns or to have guns or to use guns. So interesting. The other thing is that normally when I send these predictions out, I want to start with the new moon and the full moon. The new moon in January will be in Capricorn. It happens at 6:31 p.m. on January 9th, and that's Mountain Standard Time, by the way. So Capricorn means that the month ahead, starting January 9th, is going to be a focus on more serious things. Things can tend to be more cold. Things can be more serious, more negative. You have to avoid negative thinking like the plague, depression like the plague. On the downside, on the upside, oh my gosh, you can really polish your work skills. It can make you get so much done. You can get deep and organized and steady as she goes. You can persevere into career improvement. Also, how to get along with authority figures better this month. Authority figures will be a pain otherwise. That's what I said, like President Obama passing an executive order for this gun thing. It's like, come on, ask the people, what do they want? Anyway, that's Capricorn energy. Authority figures taking control, pushing their agenda on you. Right or wrong, they happen to be in the position of power so they can get away with it. What you can do with that is, if you're in a position of leadership, walk gently. You can carry a big stick, but walk gently with people. Listen to them. Capricorn also rules your bones, your teeth, your back, your knees, and so the hardened parts of your body, you want to take care of them a little more. Pay attention. See your local chiropractor. Also, calcium, magnesium might be good. And avoid negative thinking like the plague. That's also cold weather, a cold weather sign or a wet weather sign. It means in general that you have to work harder for what you want, and you might not get what you want. If you do get what you want, be grateful. It's good karma. You can make karma this month very easily by abiding in negative thoughts. So keep your harmony. Don't criticize others. The other thing is that the full moon will be in Leo, which is amazingly the opposite of the feeling that you get with the new moon in Capricorn. Leo is an extremely creative sign. We do have a lot of things happening this month, quite frankly, so I'll try to speed up my talk so I can get more on, so I don't take up too much of your time. But then the full moon is in Leo, and that's creative, fun, romantic, get out and party. It also rules issues of the heart, and most importantly, it rules your creative side, where you can come up with ideas and investments and take a chance and win. On the high side. On the low side, you get real territorial and you start roaring at everybody. Of course, nobody knows that your roar is not as big as your bite, your roar is bigger than your bite. That's the way I want to say it. But Leo rules the heart, being thoughtful, saying thank you, being generous, giving. The greatest way to get is to give. And so Leo is truly the time of the heart. You might even look at your heart health, make sure everything's ticking, in a good way there. And, good health makes for good karma, so to speak. Anyway, Leo might activate the romantic side of your world a little bit more, which is kind of fun. On the 23rd, it's exact at 6:47 p.m. So plan something fun for the weekend of 23rd and 24th, because you might be glad you did. The other thing is that we have Mercury going retrograde today, believe it or not. Mercury retrograde, actually, at 6 a.m. this morning, it is officially retrograde. So this is probably a retrograde reading, I tell you. So when a planet moves retrograde or direct, it puts a lot more emphasis on you. Now, Mercury is turning retrograde at 1 degree Aquarius. So wherever you have an Aquarian point in your chart, that's where you're going to find that there's some sudden thoughts, sudden social opportunity, good or not so good, sudden news, sudden shakeups. Now it's going to go back into Capricorn in a couple of days. And as Mercury is the planet that rules the way you think, so you might find yourself thinking negatively or seriously or, wanting to work harder, or you're cold, or you're, just got to warm up, and find harmony, find positive ways to think out things and work hard, because when you do a good job and you work hard on a given day and you lay your head down at night, you feel pretty good. There's no excuse to be depressed. You're only depressed because you're not doing something, and your soul's trying to get that information to you. Hey, you got to eat right so you won't be sad, or hey, you got to, work harder, or hey, you got to do this or that, or stop thinking negative about people, or whatever it is. There's something in your world when you're depressed that's creating that. So it's probably because you're breaking the rules of your being somewhere. And of course, the center of all rules is to keep your harmony in any condition that you face. So the other thing that's going on is that the biggest planet in the solar system, Jupiter, is going retrograde on the 7th. Jupiter at 8 p.m. Now, all of these times I'm giving you are Mountain Standard Time. But Jupiter is retrograde in Virgo. So Virgo puts a lot of emphasis on employment. Do you have a job? Do you like your job? Should you rearrange your job? Should you expand your job? Are you wasting time and energy on your job? It also puts a lot of emphasis on the weather. Virgo rules weather conditions. It also rules soldiers and uniforms and even your own clothing. You might even find you're spending more money on your shopping items than you should. Jupiter kind of tends to make us do it in a big way. Or you buy things that you don't really need. It is very good for starting a project that has to deal with detail. What else can I say about that? Hygiene, look at your hygiene, look at your health, take care of your health. You want to run from carbs because Jupiter is the planet that you can gain weight on. So starting a weight loss program might be the thing to do for some. Also, just in generally look at your diet, how you're eating, and it'll be interesting on a planetary scale. We'll probably see some bills that come to the surface that have to do with the physical body, whether it be abortion, Planned Parenthood, things like that. And we'll see possibly some environmentalist stuff or bills that control, what you can eat, what is being pushed down your throat. So kind of pay attention to some of the laws that have to do with food that we are passing, because some of them could be very damaging, especially non-GMO, not having to label packages with the label non-GMO. That's kind of a big deal, because you're buying something organic, but it may be organic, but is it non-GMO? It could be genetic organic. So which is really bad for you. Jupiter also rules mental illness in the sign Virgo, where people need to really look at how much medication they might be taking that isn't good for them and get a grip on it, get it back to where it needs to be, clean up the body. Fasting is a great thing to do with Jupiter and Virgo. Now, Jupiter's been in Virgo since last August, but it's going to turn retrograde at 23 degrees, so that means we're going to go back over these kind of issues of food, issues of diet, stay away from carbs. Too many wrong carbs and sugar and things like that can really make you sick, even though they're fun on the tongue. Your stomach's going, oh my God, help. So that being said, what else is going on? We've got the sun going, of course, in Aquarius on the 20th of January. So, get ready for the weird. Aquarius is the eccentric. It's ruled by Uranus. Get ready for the unexpected. I would suggest driving very safely wherever you go. Don't put your pedal to the metal, even though you feel like it and you're late and you think you got to get there earlier. Because you might find that there's a vulnerability to being accident prone. Explosive behavior can happen. And you might see this here and there around the planet. And I don't know, we may have to deal with these things in unusual ways. Mars is also going into Scorpio and has on January 3rd at 7 a.m. Mars in Scorpio. Now Mars is like a co-ruler of Scorpio, so it likes to be there. But it will stir up investments, money, stock market, bottom line. And first thing we saw a couple days ago was the stock market yesterday crashed. Or, well, not crashed, but went way down. There was some big problems. Scorpio rules money. So money will be probably the main theme that people are putting a lot of attention on this month. Also, watch for obsessing, for deep thinking. We may see again more trigger happy violence in a bigger way for the over the course of the next few months, because one of the other things that Mars is doing is that it's getting ready to do its retrograde turn. So it's in what's called the zone. The zone means that it's getting ready to build up just enough steam to turn backwards. And so it turns backwards at 23 degrees. That won't be until February, but you need to be aware that you're influenced by it now. And so looking at your financial picture, what have you invested wisely in? Think about wise investments. Gold, great. Real estate, great. But don't go into debt with your bank. Banking systems may get a little slap around the edges here while Mars is in Scorpio. So you don't want to put your life in the hands of someone that has control over you. You want to be able to stand on your own and be able to take care of yourself. So it's a really good time to put together your recipe for how you are going to be prepared should a calamity come upon you, which truly, because we are in the dark cycle of the Kali Yuga until 2025, our karma is descending fast and furiously. We need to rearrange ourselves so we're safe. Having water and food in your basement. Well, maybe you shouldn't put it in your basement. Maybe you should put it in your attic, because if you happen to live in a part of the United States where you're getting floods, there goes your bottled water down the river, the bigger river that wasn't there before. So just saying, it's wise to invest in safety and be safe. And watch your backside when you go into busy areas, because again, Uranus in Aries. Malls, schools, any place where there's lots of people. It's kind of silly that we have to deal with this kind of stuff. But, it's our karma. We've put into office somebody that is kind of weak or is controlled by those people that have supported him, and they're telling him what to do. So that being said, yeah, we may see a little bit of terrorist activity. It's eye-opening. It's shaking and waking us up. I don't want to drive fear into anyone, because I think when you know better, you do better. So knowing the astrology is half the battle. What you want to do is take some of these things that I'm talking about and make them in your daily prayers, that they be reversed. Because the more good energy you send out, the less power the bad energy is going to have upon us. And believe me, there is evil on this planet, and you do want to step up, stand face, and conquer the evil within yourself. But we all have little traits that we have to work on, because that's your ticket to Earth. That you're here with some condition that you've got to perfect, clean up, make beautiful, shiny, so that you can graduate. And that being said, I'm going to make one more comment about the new moon and the full moon. The new moon in Capricorn, build your business, get focused on your business, whatever it may be, your work, and plan, make some rules, get a routine going, get it down to where you can depend on what it is that you're going to create. And then when the full moon comes forward in Leo, you're just so excited to present your creation and to take a chance and to gamble. Let me tell you something, though, that full moon in Leo on the dark side could be the fact that we are having trouble with our economy, the stock market, and with Mars in Scorpio, Mars squares that Leo. We could definitely get an economic blow if we haven't protected ourselves. So I would appeal to you to make prayers on the protection of the economy of the United States of America, and in particular call to Archangel Michael to mitigate the negative energies of Mars in Scorpio and the full moon in Leo for the month of January 2016. And that's it. Have a great month. Good things are happening too, so don't just hear the negative stuff. So, all right. See ya. Hi, everyone. I wanted to add to the January predictions. First of all, it's really, really important you pay attention to the fact that Mercury went retrograde on January 5th, and that happened at 6 a.m. And what you want to know is on your chart, where and what does it activate as it goes retrograde? Retrograde means going backwards. The planet's going backwards. It's going back over stuff. And Mercury rules what we think about, the decisions we make, the communications we have. And so it's a good time to rethink all of that. And so if you're planning any meetings or having any meetings, it's a very good time for you to, kind of go over your notes and make sure that you're not just walking into something blindly. Retrograde kind of makes things go back into a cloud, so to speak. And so if you think of things under the retrograde influence, a lot of times you really need to ponder whether you want to move forward with them, because there are many things that you won't see because of that cloud. And so let's say you're going to buy a car and you think of it under Mercury retrograde. And Mercury will be retrograde from January 5th at 6 a.m. till January 25th at 2 p.m. Now that's the critical retrograde, but do realize 2 weeks before January 5th and 2 weeks after January 25th, you're in the zone. Mercury will be in the zone, and so it's kind of building its attempt to go into the clouds for you, so to speak. And you also need to check your chart to make sure, or have me check your chart to make sure that it's not lining up in a negative way with any of your other planets. So if you didn't think of these things that you want to do, like buying a car before Mercury retrograde or before Mercury went into the zone, you might hesitate until after Mercury goes out of the station retrograde and goes station direct. 2 weeks after January 25th, you're free. You're home free and you can do whatever you want. Of course, you should look at some of the other planets. But retrograde sort of makes things go on hold. If you buy a car, you might find it's a lemon. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. If you buy a computer, you're going to probably have to send it back for repairs. In general, and specifically, of course, knowing what you have to do where communication is concerned. If you're applying for jobs, if you're asking for a raise, if any of these things are happening in your life, or if you're thinking of going into a serious relationship or thinking of leaving a serious relationship, this is just the time to sort of ponder it, pray about it, and get your head straight. Unless, and there's only one way you can get out of this, unless you've been thinking about it 2 weeks before January 5th and long before, and this would be a good time for you to move forward with your decisions. So that being said, the other thing that's going retrograde is Jupiter, and Jupiter's got our attention on foreigners. Foreigners are everywhere. Oh my gosh. In the realm of soldiers, Jupiter is in the sign Virgo, and that rules soldiers in foreign places. I mean, look at all the stuff that's going on in the Middle East, and now Saudi Arabia and, Iran and Afghanistan, and, they're always in the news, it seems like, and it seems like they've been fighting since the beginning of time over silly stuff, fanatic stuff. Jupiter rules fanaticism. It also rules belief systems. Virgo rules lack of self-esteem or self-worth. And so you think you got to pull out the soldiers to show that you're very strong, which is not necessary. But, that's the confusion when Jupiter goes retrograde it can cause. Now, it also has a zone, so it's building in its phase before it goes retrograde, several weeks before. So we have been hearing, and as I said in my December predictions, a lot about foreigners and war and, terrorist acts and things like that. Well, I think Uranus going direct has also been involved in that. And it's not over, folks. We're going to have to deal with a lot of this through the whole year of 2016. Jupiter being in Virgo, promoting soldiers and war and things such as that clear till August. And even then, there's other planets that are saying, influencing this. Now, what planets do is they carry energy. That energy comes down the pipeline through the sign. The sign gives it the momentum, the vibration, the color, the strength, and then it hits you or someone or something down here on physical Earth. And then you have a happening. So you can stop astrology. You can stop the energy, by focusing on it and, maybe doing prayers, putting some good energy out against that, thinking the opposite and, willing it so, just like, the power of positive thinking. I am overcoming every condition, and name that a condition. I swear it works. Norman Vincent Peale, Power of Positive Thinking, Dale Carnegie, Think and Grow Rich, Another person, Polly, I am rich beyond my wildest dreams. Unveiled Mysteries by Godfrey, and I Am Presence books by the I Am Temple. These are excellent positive thinking books. And I tell you, a good example of positive thinking and rolling back energy, even though he's a diamond in the rough, Donald Trump. His first mentor when he was a little boy was Norman Vincent Peale, The Power of Positive Thinking. And that's why he always goes around bragging, so it seems, where he says, I am winning, I am high in the polls, I am this, I am that. And it's always positive statements about himself. You'll never hear him say anything negative about himself because he knows the power of the I am. I am. When you say I am, it's almost like, well, whether you're religious or not, you're saying God in me is. So if you're saying I'm sick, I can't make it, I don't have any money, oh my God, change that thought process. And maybe this is a good time with Mercury going retrograde in Capricorn. Capricorn is the sign that can have you taking authority and getting power and getting achievement over your the things that you want to accomplish, or thinking negative, depression, I'm never going to make it. It demands that you work harder and think about what you're working at. So, Mercury in Capricorn can be capitalized on in turning a negative into a positive because you're rethinking it, redoing it. And I have this great little show on my website, astrologygenehart.com, about treasure mapping, and give it a listen because you can create anything you want. The power of vision. Vision, the third eye, it's one-eyed. It focuses completely on the goal. The two eyes, which are the eyes that we see through as we walk through Earth, kind of confuse things, and then we're looking more at our karma. So you want to get that visualization and then put the love of your heart into what you're doing so you can achieve. And, Jupiter being in Virgo, my point of going to this in this direction is if we have to face the challenge of World War III, which we are, and it isn't even our fault, it's just like coming at us because Virgo's on the passive side of the regular astrology chart. So that means that we're on the receiving end, so to speak, in the natural zodiac. What are you going to do about that? Well, I think prayer is the most powerful ammunition you got, but you have to be specific. Angels are standing there with their arms crossed, waiting for you to ask them to do something. You tell them what to do verbally, and they're so happy because they're assigned to serve us. And they can't do a darn thing for us unless we ask, because they can't interfere with our free will choice, the greatest gift you have. So, angels come quickly, tell you what they need to know, and they're on their way. So if you get a tickle in your heart, a tickle in your head, write it down, because that may be the greatest invention you'll ever come up with, and it may be the key and the answer and the solution to you coming out of a negative condition that Mercury in Capricorn could create. Mercury is crossing over into Aquarius, crossing out of Aquarius, on January 8th. It did actually turn retrograde in Aquarius. It just was at 1 degree, so you should check your 1 degree point. But it's going to go direct at 14 degrees. It's going to go direct at, I believe, 14 degrees Capricorn. I need to check that. Here's my little ephemeris. Everybody should have an ephemeris and learn how to read it. It's an amazing little book. 14 degrees Capricorn. It goes direct. Now, when it does that on the 24th, 25th, and 26th, you're going to find a great deal of emphasis of energy coming down the pipeline in your world. And, at 14 degrees, know what kind of emphasis that is. So text me, give me a call. My number is 406-599-3934, or email me at Jean@astrologygenehart.com. That's Jean, Jean, at astrologygenehart.com. By the way, we're coming to Kansas City. We got a seminar we want to do at it's going to be at the Unity Village, beautiful, beautiful campus in Kansas City. And it will be Sunday night, the January 24th, and it starts at 5 o'clock, although the lecture part will be at 7 o'clock, so you can come in at 5, see what all we have. If you want to talk to me about something in your astrology, I'll be glad. I'll be doing little mini consultations before the lecture and after the lecture. So, and it's going to be a show too. I'm going to bring my co-host, Arthur Thumb, and we'll do the Trek Upward radio show. We're going to do a little segment of that, so we'll get you laughing. So I hope you can come. The tickets are $25 at the door. It will be RSVP, so you need to let me know you're coming because we only have seating for 100 people. So that being said, all right, I hope this helps. Do I want to say anything more about this? Yeah. Jupiter going retrograde in Virgo. Watch the carbs, because if you gain weight under Jupiter in Virgo, it's going to be really hard to get rid of. Don't whine, don't worry, don't stress, don't waste time, don't waste energy. Then you balance what you came down here to do, which is called, you balance your karma. And this is school room earth. You're going to be tested. It's going to be hard. And this is the type of testing that we're getting right now. You can personalize it inside your own chart. And I will say one last thing. The reason we're getting so much energy on war is because a lot of people are misusing their free will. I mean, they could take the high road if they wanted. But, it's almost like it's too much effort. Why? Maybe it's easier to go down than go up because we live in a gravitational pull. Let's fight. That's easier. Not, let me say that again. It's not easier. Oh, one more comment. Mars, I forgot. January 3rd went into the sign Scorpio. Oh my gosh, Scorpio and Mars. Mars rules Scorpio as a co-ruler, but the sign Scorpio can be blood, guts, and gore. Mars is trigger happy stuff. So we got to watch our leaders for making trigger happy decisions. We also need to all calm and not obsess and let it go. Do what you know is right to do and call a spade a spade. Stand up on the rock of truth, but don't, attack in a violent way. Mars in Scorpio also rules the economy, and I need to really spend a minute on that. We really need to get down on our hands and knees and pray about the economy in America, that it stays stable, because Mars in Scorpio is going to shake up our stock market. It's going to shake up our money. It's going to have the news blasting negative comments about how much money everybody's going to have because this and that is falling apart. And we've spent $1 trillion here and $1 trillion there. And you need to find your center. Survival. Put a little money away under your pillow, under your bed. Invest wisely. Where you spend your money, spend it wisely. Just in case something happens. If nothing happens, you're fine. You have to really look at your own chart to see how Mars is activating your chart to determine the money situation. But on a bigger scale, you will see, and I actually did see, I think a couple of days ago, I didn't even put the two together, Mars and Scorpio, that the Wall Street on Monday went down a whole bunch. But I think it always does at the beginning of the week. At the end of the week, it seems like it goes back up. Anyway, you'll have people rioting about capitalism and how wrong it is to have lots of money, and maybe socialism. Let's just give it all away and not earn it. So you'll see a little bit of that stuff going on while Mars is in Scorpio. Who wins? I'm from the school of if you don't earn it, you don't deserve it. So you got to work hard and get it. That's what's cool about America. Land of the free, home of the brave. We have to earn our daily bread. We shouldn't have it given to us, because you don't balance karma when it's all the time given to you, although a gift here and there is nice. And so be sure and give a gift, because if you give, you're going to get it back. And that's my sermon for the day. I should say, I'm going to add to this because I think I'm going to take down my January predictions that I made originally. I think this is better. We have a new moon on January 9th in Capricorn. So that's adding to the fact that Mercury is retrograde in Capricorn. And that means focus on your work, focus on your employment, focus on your career, your practicality, your hardworking side. Where you lead wisely and responsibly. Avoid negative thinking like the plague. If you do lose your job under some of this Capricorn energy, or if you feel like it's cold and nobody loves you and you're lonely, avoid depression like the plague. Go listen to some funny YouTubes or find a way to laugh, read a funny book, call me. I'll cheer you up somehow, some way. Do not let the Capricorn energy get to you. Now, Capricorn energy is a great time to build your mountain under the new moon. Build what you want to achieve, what you want to accomplish, put it on paper. So between the new moon and the full moon, this is the way the Farmer's Almanac works. They plant a seed under a new moon, the plant grows, and under the full moon, they get to enjoy the fruit of the growth of their crop between the full moon and the new moon, the next new moon. So the new moon, start planting on the 9th and build your idea, create it, put a lot of work into it, because Capricorn will give you that emphasis to do a lot of work, or it's going to sap all your vitality because you're not cutting through and maybe you're not eating right. So look at it. What are you thinking? The more negative thoughts you have, that's a chemical that you release inside your body that saps your energy and blocks your flow. So you attract to yourself negative conditions. On the other hand, Capricorn can make you, when you're using it wisely, have more power and more energy. And when your motive is right, you attract to you the right vibe, the right people, the right conditions, the right job. And job status, career is what Capricorn rules about. So that's where your energy should be going. What are you doing career-wise? How are you building your camp base? And what are you going to do to market, get out there? Or, those kind of thoughts. Let me look at your chart if you want, and I'll tell you how your personal new moon and full moon is working. The full moon is in Leo. I love it. On the 23rd at 12:23 p.m. Of course, I'm a Leo. Leos are Hart, creative, entertaining sometimes, depending on the Leo, how it's activated in your chart. But, it should make us romantic, and should make us just really clear about what we should be investing in and taking a chance on and gambling in. So if you want to do a marketing, for instance, routine, start at the new moon, build up to the full moon, and watch that investment pay off for you. So the goal of the new moon to the full moon is to reach for your heart. What you feel in your heart is what you should go after career-wise. So if you don't love your job, you better look at it again, because you're not making enough money. And the only way to make money is to love, to put out that love, and just let it be known internally. I love my job. I love my job. I love my job. That also is a chemical that you release in your body, and it comes out your aura, and it attracts to you people that want what you got, because they are definitely captivated by joy. Everybody is looking to laugh, to smile. They're looking for love. They're looking for warmth. Leo is the sign of all those things. So the more generous and giving and warm and entertaining and funny and happy you are, the more you're going to create that dynamic in the realm of your career strengths. So that being said, entertainment is definitely the middle name of Leo. Okay, I think that's all I have to say. Every month you have a different new moon and a different full moon, and you should always keep on those. You actually, in your own chart, just so you know, based on your time, date, and place of birth, get your own new moon and full moon. And so there's a couple of other days that are involved in this, but I can only tell you on a planetary scale. And you can use that planetary moon from January 9th to build your career all the way to the 23rd, or build your positive thought and extract from your being every negative condition and replace it with something positive. If that means putting it on paper, the negative, and then finding something that counteracts it, do it, and then start to work on it. Roll up your sleeves. This is the time to do it. And then you'll feel so great by the 23rd because you did it. Or if you don't do it, you're going to feel like you're blind, like you can't see where you're going, like you're, you need to be more thoughtful. And so instead of kicking yourself for not doing it, sit down and forgive yourself and start over again. But my suggestion is wait till your next full moon. New moon. All right. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of information that helps you have a more successful life. And call me, text me, let me do your chart. Every astrologer is different and has something, a gift to offer. So if you haven't had me do your astrology before, think about it. Okay, my number 406-599-3934, or you can buy it off my website, astrologygenehart.com, or you can email me, jean@astrologygenehart.com. By the way, see you at Unity Village, hopefully, or at least some of you, in Kansas City, Missouri on January 24th, 5 o'clock p.m. Beautiful campus in Unity Village, Missouri. I guess it's got its own name. It's its own little town. I think it's by Lee Summit, though, if you know where that is. All right, so